So, If is the latest film from filmmaker John Krasinski, in which we follow a character named Bee, portrayed by Kaylee Fleming, a girl who, while she is going through a traumatic experience, she gains the ability to see ifs, imaginary friends, and along the way she meets another character portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, who happens to share the same ability, so the two of them team up to match kids with, you guessed it, imaginary friends. Before I continue with my review, welcome to my channel, everybody. For those of you who are coming across my channel for the very first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future video, whether it's a future review or a future reaction, because I have a lot of stuff coming your way. And for those of you who are coming back to my channel, welcome back. I am so happy to see your faces once again. Alrighty guys, so let's get into If.
Excellent!
This was a movie that I was very curious about for one particular reason, and as y'all can imagine, that is because of John Krasinski, besides him being a great actor, the man is a great filmmaker. I mean, he just came off of making A Quiet Place Part 1 and 2, some of my favorite horror films, not only this decade, but with Part 1 of the last decade. When I saw the trailer to this movie, I only thought one thing. So John Krasinski is tackling on imaginary friends while tapping into his Steven Spielberg. Alright, give it to me. But then I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I was like, what, 50? I think 51. I think it's about 50% right now, so I was thinking, okay, this is a movie that's either going to be a very magical experience for me, or I'm gonna think it's very unfocused, very half-baked, or at very worst, emotionally manipulative. Still, nonetheless, I went into this movie very, very excited, and how do I feel about If? I really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I didn't love this movie, unfortunately, but I don't think it's emotionally manipulative. I am someone who found this movie to be sweet and charming, and I really enjoyed If quite a bit. The performances in If are terrific. Whether it's the voice cast, which, I mean, the voice cast who voiced the Ifs, I mean, oh my god, the voice cast is great here. Not only do you have Steve Carell, you have Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you also have Sam Rockwell, Jon Stewart, George Clooney makes an appearance in this movie, not to mention it as well. Also Blake Lively, Emily Blunt, also Bradley Cooper. I mean, the names in this movie are absolutely insane for the voice talent, and they all do terrific work in this movie. When it came down to the live action performances, easily the stars of this movie are Ryan Reynolds and Kaylee Fleming. Ryan Reynolds is great in this film, and it really surprised me that he was this quirky self. I mean, sure, he does have those quirky moments in this movie, but Ryan Reynolds portrays a guy who's more jaded, he's more cynical than anything else, and I have not seen Ryan Reynolds in this type of role, I want to say, since Buried. Easily, though, the star of the show is Kaylee Fleming. Now, really quick, guys, I know a lot of people have seen her from The Walking Dead, and I'll be honest with you guys, I stopped watching The Walking Dead after it was spoiled for me. Thanks a lot, Facebook, on that one, by the way. From watching her in this movie, she is not only a star, but my god, I can't wait to see where she goes in her career after If. Now, once again, guys, I have not seen her, as I believe she played Judith in The Walking Dead, so I can't really say how I felt about her in that movie, but not movie, TV show, sorry about that. Kaylee Fleming not only has such a great screen presence, she has great charm, she's very entertaining, and she's just the type of actor at the moment that you see her, she has a great charisma to herself. There are a couple of sequences where, man, she goes for it, and did I get a little teary-eyed? Amelia, I did. The next thing I gotta talk about here, and I know this is getting more polarizing reviews in this movie, but for me, one of my favorite aspects of this movie was John Krasinski's directing. Now, like I said to you guys earlier, I think that John Krasinski is a great talent, not only just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. And clearly the story he wanted to tell was a very emotional story, but the thing is this. The story that John Krasinski told here is a story that not only, I think is a story that not only kids can watch and really enjoy, but it's also a story that the adults can enjoy as well, because are there some dark bits in If? Surprisingly, yeah. The bits of this movie for the adults to enjoy are the bits that when those kids grow up and if they rewatch the movie, which I really hope they do, they will find moments in this movie and those darker bits that they'll really enjoy, especially for those of us who had imaginary friends growing up, to which, admittedly, I did. The thing about the story that I love the most was the message of this movie. The message of this movie I thought was very well done, and it was powerful. The moment I heard a particular line, no joke, did I get a little emotional? Yeah, like, it was a moment that's made me go like, that is so fucking sweet, oh my god. The overall message, the overall arc of what Sweet presents, it's a very sweet arc, it's charming, and it's endearing. If is also beautifully shot. I mean, my god, this movie looks gorgeous. This movie is shot by Steven Spielberg's DP Janusz Kaminski. I'm pretty sure I just butchered his name to high heaven, but still. The colors of this movie are bright, they're vibrant, and they're just gorgeous. There are a couple of shots in this movie where I was legitimately going like, this is movie magic. Wow. If's VFX for, I would say, really for a lot of the time are quite stunning. I mean, sure, are there a couple of times where you can notice some of the VFX? Sure. But the majority of the time, the VFX were absolutely astounding. Absolutely astonishing how the VFX looked this good with, I believe, just over 100 million. This looked like a really, really good movie, guys.
Well, that's just fucking great!
If, at least I thought, was a really good film, but it's not great, and it could have been great. One of my biggest issues with If was the overall storytelling of If. The central story of If, I think, is a very emotional story with a great emotional core, with a movie that has a lot of great heart. But unfortunately, If is a movie that does have a lot going on. I mean, it has a lot of paint thrown at that wall. There's a subplot, not really a subplot, but there's a lot of footage involving John Krasinski because, yes, John Krasinski also acts in the movie. I don't really think that John Krasinski needed to be in the movie so much. And it's not just him, by the way, because there's a lot of other bits that are going on with the storytelling that not only felt really unfocused, but narratively, it just didn't quite work the way I think it wanted to work. I feel that If could have probably been trimmed down maybe like 5, maybe even 10 minutes for that matter. I feel that If could have been, at the very minimum, hour 30, maybe even hour 35, maybe closer an hour 40 minutes, somewhere around there. There were just some bits that I feel like if you either trimmed them down or maybe even cut out certain bits, it would have been a streamlined run to maybe like around an hour and a half, maybe like an hour 35, possibly right around there. There is a sequence in this movie where you can tell it wants you to be emotional. It does. Now, I wouldn't say it's emotionally manipulative or anything like that, but I could definitely tell it's a scene where there's something that was supposed to be there, but it didn't quite land for me as much as the movie wanted it for it to land for me personally. There's a bit at the end of this movie where I found it to be predictable. It's only because I want to say around the halfway mark of this movie, there is something that happens. And once I heard this bit, I kind of knew where this bit was going to end up going to. And for me, I found it predictable. Just one bit.
And here we go.
So overall, I really enjoyed If. While If I thought had some narrative issues, and I also thought it was a smidge too long, at the same time, If was sweet, charming, endearing, and it had those moments of movie magic. All in all, I'm gonna give If a 3.5 out of 5. It is a really good film for the entire family. I hope you enjoyed my review of If. If so, please hit that like button, or if you disliked it, hit the dislike button. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click right there or right there. And of course, until my next review or video goes live, I'll see you all next time.